Ghazni is one of the 34 provinces of Afghanistan. Located in southeastern Afghanistan, the province contains 19 districts, encompassing over 1,000 villages and roughly 1.3 million people, making it the fifth most populous province. The city of Ghazni serves as the capital. It lies on the important Kabul-Kandahar highway, and has historically functioned as an important trade center. The Ghazni airport is located next to the city of Ghazni and provides limited domestic flights to Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Ghazni borders the provinces of Medan Wardak, Logar, Paktia, Paktika, Zabul, Uruzgan, Daikundi and Bamiyan. The province was known as Ghazna in the 10th century. During and after the Ghaznavid era, Ghazni was a thriving Buddhist center before and during the 7th century AD. Excavations have revealed religious artifacts of both Hindu and Buddhist traditions. The two other great Buddhist centers, Fondukistan and Tepe-e-Sardar of unbaked clay. A very similar statue has been found just north of Afghanistan, at the site of Adzhina Tepe in Tajikistan. Yet what is most interesting was the find at the same site of a statue of the Hindu deity Dpurga Mahishasura Mardini. In 644 AD, the Chinese pilgrim Shanzang visited the city of Jaguda. While returning from Varnu in 683 AD, armies from the Umayyad Caliphate brought Islam to the area and attempted to conquer the capital of Ghazni, but the local tribes fiercely resisted. Its resistance was so famed that Yaqub Safari from Zaranj made an example of Ghazni when he ranged the vast region conquering in the name of Islam. The city was completely destroyed by the Safarids in 869. A substantial portion of the local population, including Hindus and Buddhists, were converted to Islam by Mahmud of Ghazni. There is no evidence that Ghazna had previously formed part of the Samanid kingdom. It had been previously overrun with the whole of Zabulistan and Kabul by the Safaris by 260, but it is doubtful how far their power was permanent, and even when the Samanids became paramount there is no evidence that Kabul or Ghazna were under them. The ruler of Ghazna is described as Padshah and was allied to the Hindu Shahis of Kabul. These titles were not as yet used by the Muhammadan rulers. The Padshah Lavik was probably a Hindu chief, even though some passages in the Tabaqat-i-Nishri give him the name of Abu Bakr or Abu Ali. After the rebuilding of the city by Yaqub's brother, it became the dazzling capital of the Ghaznavids from 994 to 1160. Encompassing much of North India, Persia and Central Asia, many iconoclastic campaigns were launched from Ghazni into India. The Ghaznavids took Islam to India and returned with fabulous riches taken from both prince and temple god. Contemporary visitors and residents at Ghazni write with wonder of the ornateness of the buildings, the great libraries, the sumptuousness of the court ceremonies, and of the wealth of precious objects owned by Ghazni's citizens. Farishta records attacks by Muhammad of Ghor. At the same time, most of the infidels who inhabited the mountains between Ghazni and the Indus were also converted, some by force and others by persuasion. Ghazni's eponymous capital was razed in 1151 by the Ghorid Alauddin. It again flourished, but only to be permanently devastated, this time in 1221 by Genghis Khan and his Mongol armies after 6 years of Khwarezmid rule. Ghazni's strategic position, both economically and militarily, assured its revival initially under the Khulfads, albeit without its dazzling former grandeur. Ghazni is famous for its minarets built on a stellar plan. They date from the middle of the 12th century and are the surviving element of the Mosque of Baramshah. Their sides are decorated with geometric patterns. Upper sections of the minarets have been damaged or destroyed. The most important mausoleum located in Ghazni is that of Sultan Mahmud's. Others include the tombs of poets and scientists, for example Al-Biruni and Saneh. The only ruins in Old Ghazni retaining a semblance of architectural form are two towers, about 43 meters high and some 365 meters apart. According to inscriptions, the towers were constructed by Mahmud of Ghazni and his son. Ibn Battuta noted, the greater part of the town is in ruins, with nothing but a fraction of it still standing, although it was formerly a great city. Babur records in his memoirs that Ghazni was part of Zabulistan. The area was controlled by the Mughals until Nader Shah and his Persian forces invaded it in 1738. Ahmad Shah Durrani conquered Ghazni in 1747 and made it part of the Durrani Empire. During the First Anglo-Afghan War, the capital of Ghazni Province was destroyed by the British-led Indian forces in the Battle of Ghazni. In the 1960s, a 15-meter female Buddha was discovered lying on its back and surrounded by empty pillars that once held rows of smaller male Buddhas. Parts of the female Buddha have been stolen. In the 1980s, a mud brick shelter was created to protect the SC.